Hello everyone and welcome to the next video. I'm going to be going over the visual system today. Here we see the anatomy of the eye. Light enters the eye through the transparent cornea, passing through the pupil at the center of the iris. The iris is the colored portion of your eye, and it is a muscle which regulates the size of the pupil, determining how much light can enter and eventually hit upon your photoreceptors at the back of the eye where the retina is. The lens adjusts, which is called accommodation, to focus the light upon the retina, where it appears upside down and backward, as you see here. Photoreceptor cells are within the retina and send information via the optic nerve all the way back to the visual cortex of your brain. The retina is a multi-layered sensory tissue that lines the back of the eye. It contains millions of photoreceptors that capture light rays and convert them into electrical impulses. These impulses travel along the optic nerve to the brain where they are turned into images. There are two types of photoreceptors in the retina, rods and cones. The retina contains approximately 6 million cones. The cones are contained within the macula, the portion of the retina responsible for central vision, and they are most densely packed within the fovea, the very center portion of the macula. Cones are specialized photoreceptors for color and attention to detail. There are approximately 125 million rods. They are spread throughout the peripheral retina and function best in dim lighting. The rods are responsible for peripheral and night vision. The fovea is a depression at the centermost part of the macula. Because of the dense concentration of cone photoreceptors, this tiny area is responsible for our central, most sharp vision. If you have a healthy fovea, this is key for reading, watching television, movies, driving, and other activities that require the ability to see detail. Unlike the peripheral retina, it has no blood vessels. Instead, it relies on a very high concentration of cones so that we are able to appreciate color and detail. The optic nerve exits out of the eye through a hole in the retina, which is the reason why we have a blind spot. There's an area of our retina that has no photoreceptors due to the optic nerve exiting out so it can reach the thalamus of the brain. The signal from photoreceptors of the temporal portion of the retina travel ipsilaterally via the optic nerve to the same side of the brain. The signal from photoreceptors of the nasal side of the retina travel contralaterally to the opposite side of the brain for processing. The visual area of the thalamus is known as the lateral geniculate nucleus. The sensory information received by the retina is relayed through the thalamus to the corresponding areas in the visual cortex, which is located in the occipital lobe at the back of the brain. The end result is that the left and right eyes each send information to both the left and right hemisphere. So next I'd like to talk about one of the theories of color vision. Helmholtz theorized that color vision is perceived because the cones in the retina come in three distinct types. One type of cone reacts primarily to blue light, another to green light, and a third to red light. The visual cortex then detects and compares the strength of the three signals from each of the three types of cones, and together creates the experience of color. The young Helmholtz trichromatic color theory best explains color blindness. The different functions of the three types of cones are apparent in people who experience color blindness, the inability to detect either green and/or red colors. About 1 in 50 people, mostly male, lack functioning in the red or green sensitive cones, leaving them only able to experience either one or two colors. Next, I would like to talk about some of Gestalt's principles of visual perception. Gestalt refers to a unified whole, and the Gestalt principles of perception are a group of theories about visual perception that describe how people tend to organize visual elements. Two of these principles are the theory of similarity and the theory of proximity. In similarity, visual elements that share distinct visual characteristics such as shape, size, color, texture, value, or orientation will seem to belong together. Whereas with proximity, Visual elements that are close together or touching will often be grouped together. And that concludes the video on visual system. We went over the anatomy of the eye, which included the very specialized portion of the retina known as the fovea, critical for color and highly detailed visual perception. We went over the pathway of the visual signal from light hitting the lens of the eye and accommodating for that, to reaching the retina where it activated the photoreceptors, the rods and the cones, back out through the optic nerve to reach the lateral geniculate nucleus of the thalamus within your brain, and then on to the visual cortex within the occipital lobe at the back of your brain. We also covered the trichromatic theory of color vision, which best explains color blindness. And we went over gestalt theories of visual perception, specifically proximity and similarity. You guys have 2 assessments this week, one on Tuesday, a discussion, and the other on Thursday, a quiz, both of which are on sensation and perception. I want to give more time for these longer topics where we have a lot more content to get through, and I will post another video soon. All right, be well and good luck.